The other major factor that explains the successfulness of broad-based and sustainable economic growth and development of a given nation or country is the massiveness of the role of the government in the economy. As far as the massiveness of the government role in the economy is concerned, it means how much big enterprise the country and its regime actually owns. It is the bigness of the government in terms of regulating the entire economic activities. The greatness of the government to run or stimulate industrialization, the government's policies and the procedures in terms of creating urban revolution or massive urbanization. The government's capability and the capacity to shine agriculturally, or the role, the impact, the output, the possession, the capability to invest of the government over the entire economic sectors and subsectors can be an indicator of the massiveness or the bigness of the given government or regime. Therefore, governments who do own huge enterprises can make their economy grow in healthy patterns because they can leverage their own enterprises, capabilities and capacities to influence the economy in the directions and the paces they wanted it to be. If it is at the disposal of the government to undertake agricultural revolution or urbanization, massive urbanization or urban revolution and industrial revolution, nothing can stop that government from actualizing or materializing what he has to do. This sort of government cannot bend into the hands of international donors or international investors or international influencers or local outcry. Rather, it can simply actualize or realize the amount, the volume, the pace, and the rate level of economic accomplishments, growth, expansions, using all of his total economic tools at its disposal or ownership. That's why governments who do watch the economy from the sidelines are unable to draw, let alone to bring, even to draw meaningful impacts over their own economy. Governments who do not have their own massive enterprises cannot think of driving their economy in the patterns or paths or styles they want or dream it to be. Governments have meaningless capacity to be influenced. The very ambition of agricultural or industrial or urban revolution can remain simply a niche wasteman dog, even not drawing any meaningful regulations or incentives to think of influencing it, let alone to actualize them. Therefore, agricultural revolution, industrial revolution, or urbanization revolution, or economic revolution cannot be thought of without the massiveness of the government's control, ownership, and or direction over the entire economy. Rather, on the contrary, small governments without real enterprise, without real ownership of real enterprises, governments with small spending or control capabilities, governments with no meaningful impact and influence over the entire economy. Those sorts of governments are not governments, they are just agents of the economy. They do collect some revenues and spare it somewhere else, just as the cost centers, they remain just like one a mirror entity or a mirror economic unit instead of the dominant economic unit of that economic community. Therefore, massiveness plays a big role, especially nowadays where globalization and global competitions are fierce and never seen before. Without the massiveness of government roles and total ownership and influence of the economy, we cannot imagine of meaningful and rapid economic growth unless its total populations are supergeneous to create some fantasy or ideal type of economic growth, especially for developing countries and underdeveloped countries. Without the bigness of government roles, it's a realistic fantasy to bring about the economic miracle that had been seen in the Far East. Unless and otherwise, total populations are presumed to be or assumed to be geniuses who do create miracles or magics or some fantasy type of economic growth or boom overnight. Therefore, one cannot spell out or exclude the irreplaceable role of the bigness of government ownership and their total influences and or directions over the entire economy. That's why the existing gap between developed and developing countries cannot be bridged unless countries do follow the suits of East Asians. This has to be underlined, re-emphasized, articulated, re-engineered. Otherwise, stagnation will remain normals of the day, fashions of the day, or dependencies can remain only norms of the day. Thank you for watching. See you next.